Laughter echoed off the polished glass walls of the elegant rooftop restaurant. Crystal glasses brimmed with fine wine, catching the flicker of candlelight, while silver utensils gleamed softly. Smug grins adorned the faces of the diners, basking in their own success. Then his voice sliced through the buzz of conversation. "How's it feel to be the underdog? Your wife's the one propping up your home." The room exploded with sharp, cutting laughter, like shards of shattered crystal. Some choked on their appetizers, startled by the jab. My wife's laughter rang out, full and unguarded, resonating with carefree abandon. Her gaze slid away from mine. I didn't join in the mirth. Instead, I offered a tight, fleeting smile. Turning to the CEO, Harold Bishop, a man who'd built his fortune on arrogance and questionable dealings, I said evenly, "How does it feel to know this underdog owns 90% of your empire?" Silence crashed over the room, as if cleaved in half. A fork clattered against a plate. Wine glasses froze midair. My wife's face stiffened, her expression locked in disbelief. Harold's complexion turned ghostly pale. That moment sparked the unraveling of everything. I had once loved her fiercely. 12 years, 2 dogs, and a devastating miscarriage that left us raw. We'd woven dreams over cheap takeout on wobbly IKEA furniture. I supported her when she left teaching behind to chase corporate success. After every setback, she cried in my arms and I whispered, "Keep going." I took on consulting gigs, worked late into the night freelancing, and quietly built my own venture. All because I believed in our shared vision. But at some point she stopped believing in me. It started with a condescending tone. "You don't understand the real world, darling." Then came the exasperated sighs. Her phone always face down, missed dinners and empty apologies. One night, she returned late, another man's cologne lingering on her skin. I learned his name, Jeremy, a junior executive with a cocky smirk and polished nails. The same man who'd labeled me an underdog at the dinner. For 3 months, I watched them in silence. She didn't know I could access her cloud, oblivious that her phone auto-backed up photos. She forgot I'd configured the backup on her old laptop. There were pictures, her red dress pooled on a hotel floor behind him, emails, and their hushed plans for a future together. She called me dependable but dull, a weight holding her back from her true destiny. Each word I read chipped away at my soul. Then I began my work. Years before, I'd made a calculated move. While she climbed corporate ladders, I acquired small tech companies, one of which held a vital patent. Harold Bishop's firm needed it desperately for their AI-driven supply chain system. They tried to buy it, but I outsmarted them quietly. I waited patiently. Eventually, Bishop's company entered a merger, unaware that my firm, hidden behind layers of shell companies, was the buyer. After one board vote, I controlled 90% of their shares. Neither my wife nor Bishop had any idea. I stayed the invisible force until that night. My retaliation wasn't rash. It was carefully orchestrated. I chose the company dinner as my stage, a public, deliberate setting. I wanted the impact to resonate, not explode. She picked the venue. I insisted on coming, playing the dutiful spouse. She wore a dazzling silver gown, her lips painted with the same shade of betrayal she'd shown that July evening. Jeremy sat across from me, tossing a sly wink when she wasn't watching, certain I was irrelevant. Then came the toasts, the barbs, his biting comment, and my reply. "How does it feel to know this underdog owns 90% of your company?" Gasps rippled through the room. A glass crashed to the floor. Harold's hand trembled. "What are you talking about?" he barked. I held his stare calmly. "You should have checked the merger's holding company more carefully. My name's tucked away on page 6 of the trust documents. Look at the filings." He glanced at my wife. She stared at me like I was a stranger. I continued, unflinching. "Next week, I'm dismantling several departments, including Jeremy's." Jeremy's smug grin collapsed. "You can't do this," she said, her voice brittle as frost. "This is my career, my life." I leaned in, my voice low but firm. "You laughed when he called me an underdog. That was the moment you forfeited everything." The fallout was immediate. Jeremy was fired the next morning. His department was reorganized, a euphemism for obliterated. Harold was forced out, his shares diluted and then absorbed. My wife tried to come home that night, her eyes glistening with tears and practiced regret. Too late. I handed her an envelope with signed divorce papers. Her name was gone from the house deed and the cars. The prenup had been discreetly updated, locked in with her digital signature from a finance app I'd set up for her. She looked at me like I was the antagonist. Maybe I was, but antagonists don't cry alone in the dark. I did, until I stopped. A week later, from my office window, I watched Jeremy stuff a cardboard box under security's gaze. Harold's parking space sat vacant. My ex-wife left without a word, slipping away as she used to slip in late. I returned to my desk. No applause, no audience, just silence. It felt righteous. People cheer for the underdog until he refuses to stay down. They mistook my patience for fragility, my loyalty for naivety, my empathy for surrender. They forgot the most powerful man in the room is the one who speaks quietly. Yes, they laughed, but I smiled. And then I took it all.